You want to take your mask? You want to drop your mask off?
Yeah. So my name is Sam.
My name's Caleb.
And our engineering studio is physics, ingenuity, math, play, and science, or shorthand PIMPS. Yeah, I came up with it, thank you. And so ours was, we call it HILM, Human Input Lifting Machine. It's kind of on the nose. And so our design brief, we have the parent is a purchaser and the child is the user, and so Caleb is our head engineer, and then I am Caleb's assistant.
Our problem statement is children need to learn to put away toys, but that's hard for them and boring. We are making a fun and easy way for them to have a nice cleanup time.
Yeah, so we wanted something that's nice and easy to lift up, and will be fun and under 30 seconds. And so our constraints are, we have 2 weeks to work on it. There is effort, there needs an effort force from a single human input. The compound machine must lift 1 kilogram. Final design must include 3 different mechanisms. 1 kilogram mass must be lifted in under 30 seconds, must be lifted a foot, must be under $3 million, must have an AMA of 3, and must have a way to measure the input force. And so we had 3 ideas. So it was inclined plane, a pulley and a gear, a compound gear and a pulley, a lever, a gear, and a pulley. And so our criteria was difficulty of making it, the time it would take, the cost it would take, the fun we'd have using the machine and making the machine, and the ease of use. And so our lever, gear, and pulley we thought would be the most fun and would be the easiest to use. It would be low cost, it would be easy, and wouldn't take a lot of time. We find out later that it is a lot harder to use the lever than you would think, so we probably should not have scored it a 7. And so this was our plan sketches of all the designs, and so we chose this design to use, but the other two were good ideas. However, our hearts, well, his heart wasn't in them. I wanted to do the inclined plane. However, we reached an agreement
That this one would be more fun.
yeah, that design 3 would be more fun. And so our prototype, we have a gear system with a crank and a spool. Then we have a gear system with the end of the spool that is turning this bigger gear, because we wanted more torque out of it rather than velocity. Because basically with the pulley and with this, we don't get a lot of mechanical advantage. So we had to get it from the gears, and then so we have the pulley down here, and we have the lever, which is then lifting our weight up a foot. And so we took 3 pictures, one from the front, from the side, and one from the top, just to get all the angles.
So you had 3 spools in there?
Yes.
Yeah,
That's where all my spools went. I was wondering where they all went.
And so then, this was the calculations we did for the lever, the crank, lever, all the cranks, and then this is what we found. So
The total IMO was 143.03. The total ammo was 19.62. The gear ratio, the overall gear ratio was 5.4 repeating. The IMO and gear ratio combined was?
we changed this, but I must have hit the undo button by accident, because that's not supposed to be like that. I'm sorry.
The efficiency was a staggering 14%. The cost was $2 million. The lever IMA was 37/39, so below 1. The crank gear ratio was 7/3. The crank wheel and axle IMA was 9/4. The crank spool wheel and axle was 57/11. The gear spool wheel and axle 1 was 11/24. The gear spool wheel and axle 2 was 57/11, and the gear spool 1 and 2 gear ratio was 7/3.
And then this is our the video.
7, 8, 9.
Yeah. That's a foot. That's a foot. Yeah. So some of the problems we ran into was the lever bending, because what we used at first was not strong enough to lift the 1 kilogram of weight, and these two gears were slipping, so we had to tighten them next to each other, and so it was a lot of problems. The easiest part, I think, was screwing everything together, because it was very hard to get the lever to work, and it was just a mess of problems. But
All right, I'm gonna demonstrate it. Make sure you're off to the side so I can see it. And there it goes. This is, I think, my first ever lever machine. Look at that. Wow. All right. Nice job.